What is happening, people? The Liverpool Prophet is back again with another match reaction of today's game. Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1. The Reds stagger over the line. I think I'm going to say stagger because I think that is the correct word to use for today's game, because we did stagger over the line. In a game that should have been a comfortable win, considering where both teams are in the table, but we struggle to get the win yet again. But without further ado, here's my match reaction, my match analysis, should I say. To be fair, I thought we came out of the blocks absolutely on point. I thought the way we started the game, the way we were throughout the whole first half, is probably the best I've seen us play in a while now. You know, we haven't seen that proper attacking heavy metal Liverpool for a good while now, since about Christmas. We haven't really seen that. You know, it's been pretty not great since then. But I thought first half we played really well. Definitely the best we've looked in a good while. Definitely the best performance in recent weeks. On it from minute one, pressuring the crap out of West Ham, pressing high, keeping the ball brilliantly. It was just all there first half. Really solid performances all around. The best we've looked. We should have scored about 3 or 4, to be fair, first half. We're not, under Klopp, that's probably a game that you're looking at and you're thinking that's probably about 3 or 4 in at half time. But I don't know, under Slot, for some reason, and I don't like it, to be fair, we aren't killing games off in the first half, really, which we used to do a lot under Jurgen. But we're not doing it under Slot. Not killing games off early in the first half. Taking 1-0 wins and just struggling with them. It's a bit odd. But first half, we were on it. Salah, what can I say, man? The GOAT was absolutely cooking in that first half. Just cooking all over the pitch. Signed the contract in the week. Came out of the box with a point to prove. He's here to stay. He loves the club. And we love it. He was on it in the first half. Salah, best player on the pitch by a mile. Everywhere. Could have had a couple goals. Unlucky that he missed a couple of chances, to be fair. What a ball, though, for the goal from Diaz. What a ball from Salah. Just plays a brilliant ball into the box. And Diaz taps it right into the feet of Diaz, who has an open net to tap it into. What an assist. What a ball. That's not going to get talked about enough. We know that's not going to get talked about enough because we know the agenda that people have against Salah. But he was everywhere in that first half. And I thought he played very well. Other than that, I thought the midfield was decent. I thought the defence was decent. But I thought the first half was a very dominant showing from us. Very pleased with what I saw. And I was thinking that going into the second half, we'll keep up the same momentum and we'll score about 3 or 4 goals. So we go in at half time, we come out second half. And for the first 10 minutes of the second half, I thought we looked okay. We looked like we were doing the possession thing where we were keeping the possession, trying to wind down the clock. And I was okay with it, to be fair. I was okay with how we were doing that. We weren't really going forward a lot, but it was just keep ball. I've seen us do it quite a bit this season. I was okay with it, to be fair. But then you see around 60 minutes, I don't know what happens. West Ham, obviously, rightly so, they start getting more confident, in the game. Grow into the game, should I say. They started going into the game, which they're going to do because it's only a 1-goal lead and you never know what can happen. So they start, playing a bit more front foot. And I don't know what Slot was doing or what happened, but we suddenly started dropping a lot deeper, playing a lot deeper, should I say. And it was basically attack versus defence second half. Us being the ones defending, West Ham being the ones attacking. I don't know what Slot was playing at, to be fair. I'm not happy with that at all. This is 17th place in the table, West Ham. They're shite. They're absolutely shite. If other teams around them were decent, they'd be in a relegation battle right now. Why are we playing pragmatic football at home against the 17th place West Ham? What is the thinking behind that? Seriously, can someone let me know? Because I don't know. I don't know what the fuck we were doing playing defensive like that second half. Really got under my skin, to be fair. I'm like, I'm seeing other. I'm going into a bit of a rant here, which is weird because we won the game, but I'm not happy with it at all, man. I'm really not happy with that. But yeah, West Ham were absolutely all over the second half, if I'm being fair. And you know what? At the end of the game, we see it happen, and we saw the inevitable that was going to happen. They were cutting our defence open way too easily. If a mid-table team's able to cut our defence open like that, it's really worrying, isn't it? But yeah, they got their reward. To be fair, they played a cross into the box. Van Dijk made a bit of a meal out of it. I can see what he was trying to do with it, trying to put it out for a corner, but Robertson runs in like an idiot and taps it into his own net, scoring an own goal, and it's 1-1. And I'm sat here thinking that we've absolutely screwed ourselves out of 3 points again, which I thought we did, to be fair. I didn't think we were going to win that. Absolutely made a meal out of that, to be fair. That was awful defending from Liverpool. But yeah, man, we get a corner last minute of the game, and who steps up to absolutely save us from dropping points? None other than the captain himself, VVD, Virgil van Dijk, stepped in with a bulletproof header, and he absolutely buried it top bins. No chance for the goalkeeper. Yeah, and we just saw it out from there. We saw it out from there, but that's the mentality that Van Dijk has. That's the mentality that our captain has. He made a mistake. He didn't let it affect him. He accepted he made the mistake. He got on with it. And you know what? He redeemed himself with a goal. With a clutch goal as well to win us the game. So, Virgil redeemed himself. And you know what? Obviously, you got to still talk that he didn't make the mistake for the goal. But you know what? He made up for it. And that's what captains do. They take it on the chin. And they go forward and they better themselves. That is what Virgil did. And we won the game. So thank you, Van Dijk. You saved us today. But these are worrying signs I'm seeing at the moment with us. The way we're playing. Some of the decisions that Slot is making. Substitutions wise. Today again. You can see that attacking wise, we other than Salah, no one can finish their dinner. And you got Chiesa who's balling out every time he comes on. What does Slot do? He brings on Endo to play even more pragmatic instead of bringing on Chiesa, who would offer something going forward. This Chiesa thing is really, really strange to me, man. Really, really strange. You're giving players like Nunes a chance consistently. Jota's been able to smell it out week after week. Yeah, you're telling me Chiesa can't get a couple minutes at the end of the game at least. Some of Slot's decision making is absolutely strange to me. I don't understand it at all. And also, for me, it's worrying how the team's playing at the moment. I'll be honest. I thought with the contract thing out of the way, resolved, that the boys would be back on it now, playing how we did it towards the beginning of the season around Christmas time. But, and to be fair, the first half was very good. I did see the Liverpool evolved in the first half, but second half it reverted back to type, just riding our luck, not playing well. I don't know what to say. These are worrying signs for me. I can't just overlook them. I really can't overlook them because I've seen before when we have poor form towards the end of a season, it usually carries into the next season, and we end up having a really, 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 really average season by our standards. There's worrying signs, definitely, and I can't overlook them. Unfortunately, not the way I am. I think we've gotten away with it a lot second half of the season. We've been very lucky that Arsenal haven't been consistent. With in their games that they've dropped points, they haven't been consistent. But I think we've been very lucky, and we've ridden our luck. We've dropped a lot of points in games we should have won. Everton, Villa, United. I can name a couple games that we should have won that we haven't. We've been very fortunate second half of the season because the performances and the level of play just hasn't been the same. It's slacked, and I'm not sure why that is, but it's got to be looked at and it's got to be rectified before the end of the season, going into next year. We've got to get our act together and start playing the way we were at the beginning of the season. We really do. I know we have 2 more wins now. We only need to win 2 more games, Leicester away next week. We should be winning that, to be fair. Leicester away. We should be beating Leicester away. Then we've got Spurs at home, and that could be the game we win the league. I don't know about that Spurs game, to be fair. I think on paper we should win. I know they just lost as well against Wolves today. But I don't know, man. I feel that Tottenham always do well when they come to Anfield or when we go to theirs. Liverpool's a game that Tottenham always seem to get up for, so I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if that's a draw as well. But yeah, we should get them 2 wins somewhere before the season ends. We won today, you know. Yeah, we won today, but it wasn't great. There's worrying signs there. Maybe I'm being too negative. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm just not. I'm not feeling the same vibe from us that I was getting early on in the season. The intensity, the want to win. It seems a bit stale. It seems to have gone a bit stale second half of the season, and I don't really like that, to be fair. Interesting what Slott's going to do in the summer, obviously, with signing his players. Because I'm going to be totally honest. I haven't been particularly excited or impressed by the style of play in the second half of the season from us. I think he's been overly pragmatic at certain times in certain games. You know, Paris Saint-Germain away. That one is the one I can understand, considering how good they are. You know, that was probably the smart decision. But I think he's been way too overly pragmatic in certain games. Other games, Villa away, City home and away. I know we won them, but overly pragmatic, I felt. Who else, man? Wolves at home. There's quite a couple games there, I think, that we were overly pragmatic in today as well. He seems to, I think, go overly defensive sometimes when he doesn't need to. You know, he doesn't. We're not killing games off as well on the start in the first half. We're scoring a goal, being unclinical, and then giving teams a chance in the second half. Something I don't like either, and I don't like the overly defensive ball as well today. And I don't like it in certain of the games that I've seen it in. Hopefully, when Slot gets his players, though, we don't see none of that. I hope we don't see none of that, because that is not the Liverpool way of playing. It really isn't. But yeah, I haven't been too excited by the style of play second half of the season. I do hope. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me, but I haven't seen the same intensity there second half of the season. We'll have to see where it leads, man. We got the win today. It wasn't a great performance. I'm not overly pleased by the performance myself. We'll see where it goes now. Leicester away next week. We should win that. I wouldn't even be surprised if we didn't win that. We should win. We should be beating Leicester away next week. Let's see where it goes, man. Up the Reds. Let's get them 2 wins. Let's get that 20th league title, and let's absolutely celebrate in front of the rivals. Peace out, Liverpool profit. I'll speak to you guys soon for the Leicester game. Stay tuned. I'm out.